The air in the cellar was bad. It smelled like something was rotting. It also smelled like zinc and that strong medicine smell you get from antihistamine cream. Michelle Fuller was sitting in a dentist's chair in the middle of the room. She was tied to the chair. Michelle Fuller is the CEO of Oxalith. You might have seen her picture on magazines before. Now she looked really different. Her head was completely shaved. You could see her scalp shining under the lights that were flickering above. Someone had put globs of white paste all over her head. It did not look nice. Michelle Fuller, the CEO of Oxalith, did not look like an important person anymore. Across from her, Teddy Gatz walked back and forth, his boots making a crunching sound on the dried up bodies of honeybees that covered the floor. The honeybees looked like autumn leaves that had fallen to the ground. Teddy Gatz kept pacing his boots, crushing the honeybees with each step. Teddy stopped suddenly. His eyes were wide. They looked really red, like he had been crying or something. He was staring at the woman. He thought she was a spy from Andromeda. To his left was Don, his cousin who had autism. Don was holding a shotgun. His hands were tight around it. His knuckles were white. Teddy thought the cream was the thing that was stopping Michelle from sending a message to the Andromedan spaceship. Teddy believed this about the cream and the Andromedan mothership. The Andromedan mothership was what Teddy was really worried about. He saw her as something than a person. To him, she was a way for her species to keep going. This species was slowly tearing the world apart. It started with the bees disappearing, people feeling empty inside. This was because of the medicines that Oxalith was making. Oxalith had a lot of control over people with these medicines. He thought of her as a part of this problem, a problem that was affecting the world and the people in it. The bees were. People were feeling numb. Oxalith was behind all of this. The lunar eclipse is in 4 days, Michelle, Teddy said in a quiet voice. His voice was. It sounded like he was scared and also really into church stuff at the same time. The lunar eclipse is when the Emperor comes, Teddy told Michelle. That is when the sky opens up and the people like Michelle finish what the people like Michelle started with the eclipse. The scary stuff really started when Teddy hooked up the battery from a truck to Michelle's head. He did not want her to say something she did not want to say. What Teddy wanted to see was if Michelle would stop acting like everything was okay. When the electricity went through her body, Michelle's body started moving in ways that you would not think were possible. But Michelle did not make a sound. She did not scream even though the horror of what was happening to her must have been very bad. Teddy was still looking for a crack in Michelle's mask, and he was using the truck battery to try and find it. Michelle's body was still moving in those ways, but she was not screaming, and that was really strange. She looked at Teddy with a calm stare. It was scary how calm she was. Her eyes did not get bigger even when the room started to smell like something was burning. The smell was really bad, like skin was burning. She just kept looking at Teddy. "See that, Don?" Teddy shouted over the noise of the battery. "No person can handle that. She is a deal, part of the royal family. Look at how she looks at the family members and us, like we are tiny bugs on a leaf. She thinks the royal family members are important, and we are not." Teddy was really obsessed with something. His mother, Sandy, was very sick, lived in a hospice near their home. She had been in an accident during a test for a new medicine called Oxalith. Teddy thought about his mother a lot. He believed that Michelle had done something bad to her. He thought Michelle had hurt his mother on purpose and taken something from her. Teddy wanted to have a dinner to celebrate something he thought was a big deal. He had found someone he called a princess. He pulled a chair up to the floor of the old farmhouse. The windows there were covered with special plywood that had lead in it. The food was really bad. Teddy gave Michelle canned peaches and raw honey. He wanted her to eat this food to see if her body could handle the food from Earth. This was an uncomfortable situation. Then someone knocked on the door loudly. It was Deputy Casey. Deputy Casey used to take care of Teddy when Teddy was a kid. Deputy Casey had seen Michelle's car on the ridge. It was just sitting there with no one around. The bad things that happened next were really fast and very upsetting. When Teddy took Casey to the backyard to talk about his bees, Don got very scared. Michelle tried to calm Don down. He completely fell apart. Don got so scared that he hit Michelle in the face with his shotgun. It made a cracking sound. Then he pulled her body, which was not moving, back to the basement, and there was blood all over the floor. When Michelle woke up, her jaw was really hurt. It was cut. When she talked, her voice was creepy and calm. She looked over at Don. He was sitting in the corner, crying. Michelle told Don that she could take him away from all the things. She said, "I can take you away from all this stuff, Don. I can show you the space between the stars," she said very quietly. Michelle promised Don the stars. The world was too much for Don to handle. Maybe he finally saw how bad things really were, or maybe he just believed what she said and could not wait anymore. Don put the shotgun to his chin, pulled the trigger. It was so loud that it sounded like thunder. It made Casey come running from the yard. Teddy was even faster. Teddy really wanted to survive. That made him do some crazy things. He met the deputy in the hallway, hit him with a big heavy shovel from the garden. Teddy kept hitting him until the deputy's face was completely messed up and you could not tell who he was anymore. The shotgun sound was still ringing in the air when Teddy did this to the deputy. Teddy went back to the basement. He was covered in the deputy's blood. His mind was falling apart. Michelle knew things were coming to an end, so she changed her plan. She pointed to her purse that she had thrown away. She said that there was a bottle of stuff in her car. It was not really antifreeze. It was a medicine from the Andromedan people. This medicine was the thing that could fix the bad things that had happened to Teddy's mother. Michelle said this medicine could make everything okay again. Teddy's mother had been hurt badly. The Andromedan medicine was the thing that could help her now. She wanted to make sure he believed her, so she let him see what she was like. When he got close, she changed her body, her knee making a sound as it came out of place to show him that she could easily get rid of her body if she needed to. This made Teddy certain. He grabbed the antifreeze and hurried to the hospital. At the hospital in the quiet ICU room, Teddy put the poisonous blue liquid into Sandy's I-4 bag. He stood there, watched as his mother's body started to give in. She had this scary and hopeful smile on her face at the same time. Her lungs were filling up with fluid because of the stuff that was spreading through her veins. This stuff was turning into crystals inside her. It was killing her really fast, all in a matter of minutes. His mother was dying in front of him because of this chemical that was crystallized in her veins. Teddy was killing his mother. At the time, Michelle used the keys she found on Don's dead body to unlock her chains. She walked slowly through the basement because her legs hurt. What she saw was really scary. It showed her how crazy Teddy really was. There was a workbench with lots of mason jars on it. Inside the jars were things like ears and fingers and eyes that people had lost. Each jar had a name on it. These were people Teddy thought were Andromedans. There was a book next to the workbench. It had pictures of people Teddy had hurt before. They were normal people who Teddy had killed in the dark. When Teddy came back, he was really upset because he found out his mother had died and the thing that was supposed to save her was not real. Michelle did not back down. She stood up straight, even though she was hurt. Then she started talking. Her voice was very low. It made Teddy feel weird inside. She said that Teddy was right about the aliens, but he was wrong about what they wanted to do. Teddy was still thinking about the aliens, and Michelle told him that he understood some things about the aliens, but not everything about what the aliens wanted. The woman said that the Andromedans did not come to take over the Earth. The Andromedans had come to say they were sorry. She said, "We made a mistake that killed the dinosaurs." The woman did not tell the truth. The Andromedans created people to make up for what they did. The Andromedans wanted people to be a species that could be better than the violence in space. People are not good. The Andromedans think people are a mistake of nature. The Andromedans think people are flawed because of how they're born. She told Teddy, who was crying, that her mothership had the answer to making people healthier and that she would take him to the mothership if he helped her get to Oxalith headquarters. Teddy was really upset. She said that her mothership was the only way to fix the problems with the human body. She wanted Teddy to help her get to Oxalith headquarters so she could make this happen and take him to the mothership. The mothership was very important to her. She believed it held the key to fixing the human genome. They got to the floor of the Oxalith skyscraper when the sun came up. Teddy looked really bad. He was wearing a bomb vest made from stolen mining explosives, and his finger was close to the button that would set it off if Michelle did something bad to him. Michelle showed him a strong closet in her office. "The teleporter," she said. "Go inside the teleporter and you will be on the ship. You will see what is really going on with the ship. You will see the truth about the ship." Teddy stepped into the closet. It was really dark. Then Michelle did something to the security system. There was an explosion. It was not very loud. It was very strong. The explosion happened inside the safe room. It knocked Michelle out cold. The windows of her office broke into 1,000,000 pieces. They flew outward, looked like a ring of sparkling diamonds. The security vest that blew up was meant to kill everyone. She woke up in an ambulance. The sirens were not really loud anymore, they were like a quiet hum. She got up with a strength that really scared the paramedics. They were shocked when she threw herself out of the moving ambulance. Then she went back to what was left of her office. The thing that looked like a closet was not really a closet. It was a thing that changed space and time in one little area. She walked through the burned remains of Teddy Gatz. Then she was gone. The closet thing was still there. It was a fold in space-time, but she was not. Michelle appeared on the Andromedan mothership. This was a place that was very cold and perfect. It had a lot of lines and shapes. The Andromedan mothership was somewhere that people could not see. Michelle was not bleeding anymore. Her skin was smooth now. Her eyes were completely black like the night sky. Michelle met with the High Council of the Andromedan mothership. She told them what had happened. The human experiment had not worked out. The humans were too violent. They had a lot of ideas like Teddy Gatz did. The Andromedan mothership was a strange place for Michelle. The High Council of the Andromedan mothership listened to what Michelle had to say. Michelle said that the humans were not good. They were too prone to doing things. The Andromedan mothership was a place of perfection. Michelle felt out of place on the Andromedan mothership. The bridge had something on a right in the middle. It was a model of the Earth, but it was flat. This model of the Earth was inside a dome that looked like a big bubble. The flat Earth model was a scary thing because it showed the people what their leaders wanted them to think was real. The model of the Earth was a very honest picture of the world their leaders had made for them to live in. Michelle looked down at the life forms inside the dome. There were billions of humans in. They were waking up, going to work, and mourning their dead loved ones. Michelle felt nothing. She reached out, put her thumb on the top of the dome. It was like she was throwing away something she did not need anymore. The humans inside the dome were like something in a dish that she had to get rid of. Michelle did this without feeling anything all. She just pressed her thumb against the dome. The plastic did not just crack, it actually broke apart. It made a really loud noise that sounded like a gunshot. Something bad happened. Every single human lung on the planet just stopped working. The air around us started making a hissing sound as it got sucked out into space. Down in the basement of this farmhouse, all these jars that had weird things, inside them, like severed body parts, just broke into a million pieces. In the hospital, it did not matter if you were sick or healthy, every single body just turned into ashes. Michelle looked out the window at the Earth below her. The Earth was very quiet. The cities were not making any noise. The lights in the cities were going out one by one because the power was not working. Something strange happened when people were not living on the Earth anymore. The Earth started to feel better. In a town that nobody thought about, there was a backyard that was all broken. The air in this backyard was still. Then something made a noise. It was a humming sound that kept going on and on. The Earth was making this humming sound. Michelle saw the Earth below her and she heard this sound. The bees were going back to Teddy's apiary. They were finally free from the sound of people screaming. The bees were returning home to Teddy's apiary. The end of humanity was not a war. It was like an author getting bored with a story, just closing the book. When you think about it, the life and death of Teddy Gatz and the Andromedan Michelle were really nothing. They were a tiny problem between two different kinds of monsters in the big picture of the universe. The life of Teddy Gatz and the life of the Andromedan Michelle were small things that happened for a moment. The universe is a laboratory where the scientists have no empathy for the specimens. Just as Teddy saw Michelle as a thing to be dissected, the Andromedans saw the entire human race as a failed culture of bacteria. When the dome popped, it wasn't an act of malice, it was a cleaning of the equipment.